G'day folks, welcome to my tips, tricks, and useful information for the DJI Osmo Action. This video is just going to be a collection of tips and tricks and useful information to help you get the most out of your Osmo Action, especially if you're coming over from something like a Hero 7 Black. I go over some tips and show you how to use your Osmo Action efficiently, so let's just jump right in and get started. So in this video, I'm going to offer up some tips on how to get the most out of your Osmo Action. So the first thing I want to talk about is GoPro Accessories. It's probably one of the most common questions I've been asked so far, is if the Osmo Action is compatible with GoPro Accessories. Because DJI included finger mounts in the frame, it is compatible with most GoPro mounts. For example, I've got the Fusion grip here. As you can see, the Osmo Action frame fits on it just fine. As well as I got the GoPro Shorty here. And as you can see, it fits on there just fine. You just have to attach the thumb screw. So if you already have a GoPro and you say have the suction cup mount, chest mounts, different things like that, they will all work with the new Osmo Action. Things that are not compatible with the new Osmo Actions are things like cases, housings, battery chargers, and remotes. The Osmo Action is similarly sized to the GoPro Hero 7 Black, but it is a little bit different. So things like the Super Suit, these metal frames, the GoPro battery chargers, none of these will work or are compatible with the Osmo Action. You can remove the protective lens cover from the Osmo Action. That allows you to replace it if it becomes damaged or scratched, but it also allows you to attach different things like ND filters. For example, I've got a set of ND filters here for the Osmo Action, and as you can see, they screw on just like that. Just keep in mind that that lens cap can be a little tricky to remove the first time. You do have to put a fair amount of force on it, but once you've had it off once or twice, it comes off very easily. Now on to my next tip here. This side door that covers the USB-C port and the memory card slot, this door can be removed. Just like that. When you do go to put it back on, make sure that little flap inside is pushed all the way out. If it's slid all the way in, it's very difficult to put back on, so just make sure it's all the way out. And then it just clips back on like that. Now the reason why you would want to remove this door is there is a matching cutout at the side of the frame here that allows you to charge up your Osmo Action via a power bank while you're using it. That comes in really handy if you're doing long extended time lapses. Just keep in mind when you have the door off, the camera is no longer waterproof, so you have to be careful of things like rain and moisture, or definitely don't go in the water. Now when it comes time to using the front screen, there's 3 different ways in which we can switch to it. First is a double tap on the back with 2 fingers. You can see there it's now switched over to the front screen. The second way is long pressing the quick switch. Just like that. And the third way is using your voice. You just simply say screen switch. And there you go. The Osmo Action has a 145-degree field of view, but when you're using things like rock steady stabilization and D-warp, it really narrows it down. So if you're filming something and you need the widest field of view as possible, the first thing you want to do is disable rock steady. Just like that. The next thing we want to do is disable D-warp. And as you can see, we have an even wider field of view now. Just keep in mind when you turn off D-warp, you are going to get a little bit of distortion in the video. When you turn off rock steady, your video is going to be shaky. In that case, it's best to use it in something like a mechanical gimbal or have it mounted on something like a tripod or some other sort of mount. And while we're talking about D-warp, I'll just show you an example there. If you look at the back of my desk on the screen there, you can see how there's a curve. Once we enable D-warp, just like that, you can see that curve goes away. The video is cropped in like I said, but it gets rid of most of that distortion, if not all of it. So it just depends on what you're filming and what your needs are. Now when it comes to using memory in an action camera, especially if you're going to be doing burst photos, you want a nice fast memory card. The Osmo Action supports memory cards up to 256 gigabytes in size. When you go to install it, the graphic faces the front. The memory can be a little bit tricky to get in and out, but a little bit of patience, usually you can get it. Now I always recommend when you're putting new memory in any kind of device, whether it be an action camera, a DSLR, a drone, you should always go in and format it. And not only when it's brand new, but you should do it every so often anyways, because memory cards can tend to get corrupt over time. Keeping it formatted every once in a while prevent that from happening and prevent you from losing your media. To format a memory card, we swipe down, we click on that button there, and that brings up more options for us. So we're going to scroll down until we see the option where it says format memory card. It's going to ask you if you want to format it. Now keep in mind when you format a memory card, if you have anything on there, it's going to be deleted. So make sure you back up anything important first. And this is also a good way to delete multiple files. If you've got a memory card full of stuff and you don't want to go in one by one and delete everything, if you go in and format it, that'll erase the card back to a brand new state with no files left on it. You'll get a notification when it's complete. Sometimes when filming, it's nice to use a grid to help you compose your shots, and you can do that on the Osmo Action. All we're going to do is go to your options by swiping down, Click on that button there. You can see there's an option for grid. We're just going to turn it on, and you can see now we have grid lines. If you need to capture something very quickly, instead of having to power on the camera, selecting your mode, and then hitting record, when the camera's powered off, you can just hit the record button directly, and it'll go in and start recording. When you're done, you just hit the record button and it will stop recording. Now you can set the behavior of your snapshot, and again, we're going to go into our settings. If we click on the option where it says snapshot, you can see here it gives us different options of what it's going to do. By default, it's set at latest settings, so whatever you had the camera doing last, that's what it's going to do. But you can set it to do a wide variety of things. You can see we can set it to video, photo, we can set it to slow motion, time-lapse, HDR video, burst, timed. So if you're a person who's going to be taking a lot of random photos, you might want to set yours to photo. Now let's go to our media here for a minute. We're going to swipe from the left-hand side. You can adjust the playback volume of your media simply by swiping up and down. You can see a counter comes up on the screen and gives you the volume level. All the way down, we'll mute it. While we're in the media too, we'll talk about favorites. As you're filming, you can go and add it to a favorite just by clicking that heart. That's handy to do, especially if you're working on an edit. You'll be able to go into your Memo app later on and filter it by your favorites, and that way you can see all the clips that you had favorited and download them to your computer or to your smartphone. If we go over to photo mode and we're going to take a photo, you can set a countdown timer by sliding up from the bottom and setting how long of a delay you want. You can go all the way from 1 second all the way up to 10 seconds. If you're going to be filming in a situation where you need the camera to be quiet, you don't want all the beeps, you can turn off the beeps or just lower the volume just by swiping down. We're going to go into our settings there, and we're going to scroll down until we see the option where it says sounds. If we click on it, you can see we have the option of off, low, medium, and high. So you can set it to what's ever appropriate to the environment you're shooting in. And while we're talking about distractions, if you're going to be filming, say, in a dark room and you want these LED lights to be turned off, again, all we do is swipe down, we click on settings, we're just going to scroll until we come to LEDs. From this menu, we can choose what we want on and off. We can have them all on, we can have them all off, or we can just have the front LEDs off only. The Osmo Action has a wind noise reduction feature, and to access that, we can swipe down, we'll go to settings, and you can see there it says wind noise reduction. We can turn that on. Now I wouldn't use that all the time because the audio is not quite as good when that's enabled, but definitely if you're in a windy situation, it's not perfect. You still will get some wind noise, but it does help cut it down quite a bit. Now the Osmo Action by default will auto rotate to whatever position you're filming in. Whether you're filming vertical or upside down, it'll automatically switch. Now that always isn't ideal depending on how you're filming and what you're filming. So we can disable that by swiping down. So by default it's at auto, that means it's going to automatically switch. We can set it to up, and that way the camera's orientation is always facing up. Even if you turn it upside down, it's just going to record video upside down. Now if you are going to be filming upside down and you don't want it to accidentally switch, we can switch it to upside down, just like that. You can see the camera's flipped over, and just like that. Now you're filming upside down, you don't have to worry about the orientation getting messed up. Now when it comes to using this front screen, as you can see right now, it's cropped into a 16:9. Now you can turn that into a full front screen. It's going to be just a square image, but it kind of helps you line things up a little bit better, makes it a little bit easier to see. And to do that, we swipe down and we click on that button there. You can see that we have full front screen on now. So if we switch back, you can see that the screen is being used 100%. So just like a GoPro, the Osmo Action allows for spot metering. That allows you to lock your exposure. And to access that, we're going to swipe down. The second button in from the bottom left, we're going to turn that on. That's your spot metering. From there, we can set the exposure by clicking on different areas around the screen or just by dragging. Once we've got it where we want it, we can lock it in. That way the exposure is not going to change on you in complex lighting environments. Now this next tip is to do with the quick switch button on the side there. This button allows you to cycle through all your different modes. Now you can customize what modes are listed in there. There might be modes that you never use and you want to remove from there, or there might be modes that you use that aren't listed there. So to adjust that, we're going to swipe down, we're going to go to our settings, and we're going to go to the quick switch option there. And as you can see, there's a check mark in some of these different modes here. We can remove check marks, or at the bottom here, there's modes that DJI didn't select by default. For example, if you only ever take photos and bursts, you might want to take the check mark out of everything else except leave one in the photo and add one to burst. That way when you're cycling through using your quick select button, it's only going to show you the modes that you actually use. Now the next thing I want to show you here is actually really interesting. DJI added something called custom modes. So if we go to our shooting modes, you can see we have video, photo, and we have this other icon over here called custom. In here you can load your own shooting modes. So if you want to add a video mode that's shooting at 24 frames per second in 4K, but say you want to add another one that's shooting at 4K at 30 frames per second with rock steady off, you can do so. That allows you to switch differently between all the different modes that you shoot in without having to go in and manually configure everything. And to add a custom mode, it's very simple. First of all, go to the mode that you want to add. So I'm going to go to video. I'm going to swipe up to set my parameters. So my first custom mode I want to be at 4K at 24 frames per second. I want rock steady on. So once we have everything set the way we want, I'm going to swipe down and I'm going to click on this little icon there and I'm going to add it to that custom mode 1. And as you can see there, it's going to add a video mode 4K at 24 frames per second. It's got rock steady, automatic white balance. So now when I go to my modes, if I go over to custom, there's that custom mode I just made. You can load as many custom modes as you want in there, and I think that's something that's going to be really handy for a lot of people. Now just like a GoPro, there are a few basic voice commands that you can do with your Osmo Action. You just have to make sure it's enabled by swiping down from the top, and we're going to turn it on there. We can even go in and get a list of the commands by clicking on that button. If we go to voice control, you can see there it says voice commands, and you can see there's a list of the commands that we can do. We have start recording, we have stop recording, we have take photo, we have screen switch, and we have shut down. At this point, the voice commands are very limited, but I'm pretty sure DJI is going to be adding new ones as time goes on via firmware updates. Now, depending on how you edit your footage, whether it's on a PC or a Mac, or maybe an iPhone or iPad, you can switch the format in which the files are saved. So to switch the format in which the video files are going to be saved in, we're going to swipe over from the right-hand side. We're going to click that little camera icon there. We're going to scroll down to the bottom. And as you can see right now, it says Format MP4. We can click on that and switch it from MP4 to .move. The other thing you can do from that menu is shoot in a flat color profile. So again, if we click on the camera icon, you can see there that we have color. If we click on it, that's how we shoot our flat color profile. That's kind of like a GoPro in ProTune. You can turn on a flat color profile. That allows you to get more dynamic range in your videos and photos. Now you only really want to shoot in a flat color profile if you plan on going in and doing your own color correcting or color grading later on in post. If you don't plan on doing any of that kind of heavy editing, you're best to leave it in the normal setting. Well folks, that was my collection of tips, tricks, and useful information for the DJI Osmo Action. Hopefully you got some value out of this video and you found something useful. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.